بيان. فإذا قرأناه فاتبع قرآن. Don't move your lips reading it very quickly, Muhammad. Don't read it very quickly like that. Jibril taught him. Don't read it very quickly. Take your time with the recitation of the Quran. Allah said about Jibril as it relates to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Allamahu shadidul quwwa." He was taught by the Quran by someone who was powerful and mighty, meaning Jibril. So the Messenger of Allah is the afsahu man nataqa bil-dad wa la aqul hadha kal-hadith. This is the reality. He was the most eloquent person who spoke the Arabic language, and yet Jibril was the one who taught him. When the Quran was revealed and Jibril came to him and he told him, "Iqra," and he squeezed him, and the Prophet said, "Well, I can't read." Or, "What should I read? What should I read?" And he squeezed him again, "Iqra." He said, "What should I read?" Squeezed him. Third time. And then Jibril taught him what to read and how to read. "Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq." He taught him what to read and how to read. So you're an Arab and you think that you're going to just pick up the Quran and read it like that? La. The Quran needs a teacher to teach you so that you'll know the ahkam of tajweed to read it correctly. وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Read the Quran with tartil. So this is the month, Ikhwani, to make this effort of engaging in the recitation of the Quran, reading it correctly, bringing the Quran back into the place where it's supposed to be, in the minds and the hearts, so that we don't fall under the statement what the Prophet ﷺ is going to say, يوم القيامة وقال رسول ربي إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. This is what we want to present to you, brothers, in the way of advice, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us those people who love the Quran, those people who pay attention to practicing the Quran and implementing the Quran, and may Allah ta'ala make it easy for us and easy for you.
We thank Brother for his enlightening talk and for sparing your precious time to be here with us today. May Allah reward you abundantly, and may Allah give us the strength to act on the knowledge that we gain from your talk. Now we are going to entertain some questions. I would ask the brothers if they could kindly pass the slips forward so that I can read the questions. And also if one of the sisters could pass on the questions down here as well, I'd be very grateful. I'm going to read the questions, and I'd ask Brother to respond as briefly as possible because we have quite a lot. The first question is from a brother. I've got two timetables for starting our fasting. One start is 3:45 and the other start is 5:15. Which one should I follow? So, brother.
Certainly, discrepancies in the timetable, there are 2 points I think you should be aware of. Number one, first point is that sometimes the timetables are actually saying that the actual time of Al-Fajr in one timetable they say is at 5 o'clock, and another timetable they're saying that the actual Salat of Al-Fajr begins, the Fajr comes in at 5 minutes to 5. So there's a discrepancy that the actual time of the Salah comes in, Fajr comes in 5 o'clock or 5 minutes to 5. What you should do is follow the two timetables that you deem as being the closest to the truth, because you know that that particular timetable comes from a group of Muslims who their Islam is not suspect. There's certain Muslims who they come to conclusions, the way that they understand Islam, the things that they say is suspect. For an example, a group of people who claim that Ghulam Ahmed is a Rasul after the Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you see a timetable that they have, having a discrepancy from the timetable of a masjid or a group of people who they don't make these weird statements, these un-Islamic statements, then you're going to pay attention to the timetable of the people who don't believe that Ghulam Ahmed is a Rasul after the Nabi of Islam sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That's the first point. Concerning this first point, let's say that both of the timetables here are different and both of the messages of communities are not having strange thoughts. Then you chose the one that you're most comfortable with and you stick with that one. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He mentioned in the Quran, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ, fear Allah to the best of your ability. لَا يُكَلِّفُ اللَّهُ نَفْسًا إِلَّا وُسْعَهَا. He doesn't burden people beyond their ability. So He didn't make anybody responsible for going up on top of the mountain to find out the exact time that the sun is going to set. He didn't make that our responsibility. So those timetables of taqriri, for the most part, you just go with the one that you feel most comfortable with. The Qibla. Who can say that the Qibla is exactly this way? 100% this way. It may be off a little bit, a few degrees to the right, or a few degrees to the left. So He told His companions, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, radiyallahu anhum ajma'un, al-Qiblatu bayna hada wa hada. The Qibla is between this and that. And He put His hands like that to show the people, try to just get as close as you possibly can. As for the precision, that's with Allah Ta'ala. Saddidu wa qari. Second point, as relates to discrepancies in the calendars, is that for the iftar, for the suhoor, the sihr, certain madhab says that you should stop eating and drinking 10 minutes before the actual time of Fajr. 10 minutes before the actual time of Fajr for the ihtiyar, just in case, to be sure. So if Fajr comes in at 5 o'clock, they say you should stop eating at 10 minutes to 5. This does not have to be followed. You don't have to follow that. You can eat all the way up to the exact time of the Fajr time, which doesn't mean you make it your job and intent to eat up to that point. But the Prophet told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Nahnu ma'shar al-anbiya umirna bi-thalath." All of the anbiya, all of the prophets were ordered to do 3 things. One of the things that they were ordered to do is to make the ta'khir in the suhoor. Is that they eat the suhoor as close to Fajr time as possible. So that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, some people say 20 minutes on the calendar. Don't pay attention to that. So those are the 2 points I think that are critical in this issue. Follow the calendar of the community that you're comfortable with. Stick to that, and you can eat your suhoor all the way up to the time of the adhan.
But excuse me, but what about the unity?